Hey y'all, welcome back. Welcome to Beyonce's Internet, and I'm Sharonda Isadora. In this video, I'll be talking about a book, and that book is Sing Me to Sleep by R.M. Virtues. Here's your cover, without the ring light getting in the way. But as usual, as always, I'll leave it somewhere in here. So let's get into this thing, shall we? So, all right, so this is the first book in his series of sacrilegious events. This is the first book in the series, and it's the story between Ashron and Penelope. Ashron is a sleep paralysis demon, and Penelope, good old human being, okay? She's Indian American. And so what goes on in this story is Penelope is having a hard time sleeping after she had a violent event happen to her or to someone in her family. Basically, there was a robbery at her house and her father was murdered during that robbery. So now Penelope is having a hard time. She's having nightmares, can't go to sleep, things like that. So Ashron comes into play because one night after taking her family is really, her mother and her sister are really trying to get her to, you know, get back to normal, but she just can't because of these nightmares. And Ashron comes into play when he ends up, in one of her night terrors that she has. And she's like initially just like petrified at first because when he comes, it's like pitch black in her room, and he's like coming up off the walls, big ass shadow, and he's very he's very menacing looking to her in the beginning because he has these big ass antlers, and they sharp teeth, sharp nails and shit, like just scary motherfucker, you know what I mean? So she's just like petrified, but Ashron is not there to actually harm her. He's actually there to help her. But of course, when you are having nightmares or night terrors or whatever, like shit, dick, a monster is a monster. You looking like, bitch, wake me up, because what is going on? So that was Penelope's thing when she first saw Ashron. She was petrified of him. But I mean, R.M. Virtues really just gets into the story that he really didn't play around at all. This is a very it's a character driven story, but it's also kind of like an erotic story as well, because he gets right into the eroticism of this book. Because Ashron, even though he wasn't there to scare Penelope, he was there to turn her on and boink up, you know what I mean? Have sex with her or whatever. And she is initially like, no, no, no. And this book plays heavy on humiliation kink. He is talking to her, like, you've been a bad girl, you're gonna let me, you know, F that cunt, things like that. This book plays heavy on humiliation kink, and Penelope seems to get off on that kind of kink, and it's really doing something for her. So after she has these few encounters with Ashron, she's getting more comfortable with him. Like, she's still like, even though there are some, like in the beginning, the first couple of nights that he's returning to her, she is still kind of like petrified, but she's also turned the fuck on, because it's just like he's doing things to her, because he has like these scenes inside of these sex scenes inside of this book. I was like, like he was doing stuff with, like, he has a tail that obviously can do things. So there was parts in the books where he was just like, child, she was having tongue and tail, and I was like, before she even got the monster penis, he was giving her tongue and tail, and she was just like, this might not be too much of a bad nightmare. You know what I mean? It was kind of like that. So The more Ashron comes to see Penelope, the more she gets used to him, the more she's being turned on by him, and the less she is starting to be scared of him. Like, there's still some aspects of him that she is petrified and terrified of, but she's becoming less scared of him as she gets used to him. And Ashron, so the way R.M. Virtue explains it inside of this book, Ashron comes across Penelope because he's actually there to feed off of her night terrors. You know what I'm saying? He's there to feed off of fear, but something about her draws him in. And because she's not able to sleep, the way he explains it inside of the book is she's actually wandering between, you know how we say sometimes when you can't sleep or you feel like you can't sleep, you know, you feel like you're kind of like in this between like being awake and being asleep. And it's kind of explained with this, what Penelope, because of these night terrors that she's having and that she's not able to sleep, she was actually wandering. So she was wandering in between Ashron's world and the and you know, Earth, or I guess like the real realm, whatever, you know, the earth realm. So she's kind of like wandering. So he was able to pick up like that. And it seems like this is something that a lot of humans can do. And the way R.M. Virtue explains Ashron's world, like he's part of hell, like he's in hell, but the way he explains it is like these demons there, like, you know, they some scary motherfuckers, you know, they ain't no punk ass, you know, people or nothing like that, you know, people, you know, demons or anything like that, but they're not there to hurt or harm humans. You know, like we hear stories about demons, like, you know, we see the movies about demons, like, you know, these motherfuckers is out to get you, you know, stuff like that, you know, scare the mess out of you. And you do have that inside of this book, where you have these demons that are being described in R.M. Virtue's world that are like scary, you know, scary beings, but they are actually not there to hurt humans. I mean, they can and they will, but it's not done on purpose. There was a part where, you know, Ashron and another demon was telling Penelope, you know, like, shit, some of y'all, we don't even want y'all. We sending y'all back. And I was like, well, then how bad the motherfucker gotta be to be sending them back? Like, damn. But, you know, so we see kind of like this progression of a relationship that starts to happen between Ashron and Penelope. They start, you know, like falling for one another as, you know, they start having these more encounters because child, she, like, once that one night they hook up, you know, after he finished scaring the shit out of her and had sex with her or whatever, she's just like, oh, I want more of this. And he willingly comes. And, you know, it's just like the more time they spend together, the more they start, you know, getting used to each other and, like I said, falling for each other. So there are some other aspects of this book as well. You know, we just don't get Penelope's POV inside of this book. We, like, in the beginning, we're strictly getting hers, but, you know, once I think like the 4th or 5th chapter, we start hearing, we start seeing Ashron's POV, and, you know, they're in hell. And with Ashron, he's also like, while he's having these encounters with Penelope, he also have to start being more careful, because now it starts to think this thing is starting to happen between heaven and hell, where the angels are up there acting damn fools and they trying to get rid of all the demons. So now all the, you know, all the demons is just like, child, it's just like we is on go, we is on lock and ready, because when these mugs, you know, they're attacking reapers, because even in hell there are reapers, and one of the reapers that was attacked inside of this book was Lucifer's son. And I was like, I don't know how that's gonna play out, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be war, bitch, you know what I mean? Which is, they were talking about inside of the book, like, because Lucifer's son was attacked, you know, now it seems like he's starting off this, I get with this series, you know, it's going to be these tensions, and maybe eventually a war is going to pop off between heaven and hell, the angels and the demons and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes with this story. So, you know, with Asheron's, he's kind of like on pins and needles, because they're telling him like, you know, isn't this not like they're trying to keep him away from Penelope? Because like I said, there seems in this world, there seem to be some humans that are you know, that want to be with demons willingly, and they have an option of being between two worlds. They can go, you know, heaven, come back to earth, you know, the earth realm, things like that. So it seems to be something that can be done, which, you know, they end up doing. But you know, they are telling him like, you need to be careful, because these angels, because they are on go, you know what I'm saying, 100%, and they're attacking the demons randomly. Like they won't harm humans, but I'm like, I don't know. They sound like, you know, they sound like some gangster kind of angels. You know, they don't sound like the angels we hear about all the time. They sound like some motherfucking gangsters, you know, that's just going around bullying people. You know what I mean? But anyway, so, you know, it's like that. So, you know, they're telling Asheron, like, you know, we're not trying to take Penelope from you or anything like that, but you need to be careful with her, because it seems like these angels will try to use her to get to him. And these are some very powerful angels. You know, we talking about, you know, Raphael, Gabriel, you know, them. It's serious, you know, it's serious. So, you know, we have that story going on. And then there's also another story. And see, there was a part, so Penelope has this friend, this male friend who likes her, but she, you know, I think she explained to her sister, like, sister was like, you know, he nice. His name was Shane. He nice. You know, you might want to get him. She was like, child, he boring. Ain't nobody want him. Plus, she was already starting to, like, you know, fuck around with Asheron. So she was like, child, don't nobody want Shane ass. Shane is boring. I'm trying to get with the demon dick, so I ain't got time for all that. You know what I mean? So, you know, but we also had this side story where we find out that Shane pretty much has something to do with the events that happened that led up to her father's murder. And child, the way they took care of his ass in this book, I was like, now see, that's the kind of revenge I'm talking about. You know, just do something to a motherfucking, don't even feel guilty about it. Don't be mad about it. Don't be upset about it. Like, you did what you did. Now you gotta suffer the consequences. But I knew Shane was an old, shifty, cross-eyed person when I read about him. I was like, you know, something about him, you know, when I read his character, I was like, something about his character is not sitting right in my spirit. It just didn't sit right. So when we get further into the story and we find out, you know, he had something to do with what happened, you know, to her father and stuff, I was just like, you know, I knew it. It was like, you know, he ain't smell right, you know, but they took care of his ass. I was like, see, that's, it ain't feel no kind of way after what Asheron did to his ass. Penelope was like, good, bitch, good for you. And I was like, good for you too. You know, I would have been in the background. I would have been like one of the demon friends, like in the background, like, get his ass, Asheron. But this is a really good story. I enjoyed it so much. It's just, I really am becoming a fan of Art and Virtue. I think he has a wonderful writing style. He really just, you know, it feels like once he starts writing this story, he makes it so believable on page, and you're just so immersed inside of the story and the characters. It's just a really good story. This is, you know, this is a novella length story, so, but it felt like you're not missing anything. You know, you're getting more than enough information that's going to set you up for the other, you know, stories that are to come inside of the series. Really, really good. I'm just a huge fan of his work. Like, just really, really good. And like the monster fucking girl, because then, like, you know, we get to the end of the book, you know, we get a happy little after with Asheron and Penelope, because child, Penelope was like, you know, Asheron was like, you know, after dust was settled, they took care of Shane, as war still brewing, but she was kind of like whatever. So Ashron gives her a choice of, you don't have to stay here. If you meet another human, he's trying to like, if you're not interested in seeing me anymore, things like that. You want to go to sleep, have some peace in your sleep. You don't want to see me. Penelope was like, no, stop, sir, sir, really? You trying to get me to get rid of the monster dick? Like what? You want me to get rid of that dick? Tongue intel? No, sir, that's not happening. No, Penelope was like, no, I want to be with you. What I gotta do? Do I gotta give up something? I gotta give up a soul? Because I'll give up a soul. That was Penelope. Penelope was like, yeah, I gotta give up a soul. I'll give up a soul. Don't matter. Child, Penelope was not trying to lose Ashron. She was like, no, nope, nope, nope. So, that's it. When I was explaining earlier, the thing came in where they were able to do the thing where that now that they're tethered. By the end of this story, they're tethered, and he's able to come into her world, in and out of her world, and she's able to come in and out of his world. So it's like that. Child, she was even to the point like, what about immortality? Like, can I get that too? Child, she was like, nah, I'm not trying to get rid of this dick. No, excuse me. No, I don't want to get rid of the dick. Like, no. Like, it's dick, tongue, tail. No. And they all do good, powerful things. Like, no, I don't want to leave it. Like, yeah, like I love him. Yeah, sure. But, yeah, he has good tail, tongue, and dick. It's like that. You know what I mean? But it was like that. Ashron was like, no, let's just let's do this first and see where it goes. But I'm telling you, Penelope was like, what I gotta do? What I gotta do? Kill me now. If it means I'm gonna be with you forever, kill me now. That was Penelope. But yeah, this is a really good story. Very short, very short in length. Just really, really great. And if he makes this a series, I'm here for it, because I want to get to know all the rest of these little, scary, cuddly ass demons, because that's what they seem like, scary and cuddly. I don't know if that can be a thing, but it can be. So if you're so interested, check it out. The book is available. Amazon Prime, I think it's still in the Kindle Unlimited. I think so. I don't know. As always, just, check before you click. And that is it for me. And until the next one, later days. Bye.